brand new Blackmagic ATEM Mini. It's only $299. Super easy plug and play use cases, webcams, all of this and more. We're going to jump right into. Plus, we have a panel of guests joining us via Zoom. You guys can join as well. Let's say hi to our guests on Zoom. Let's start with you, Julia. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hey, Paul. I had to mute the live stream. How are you? Great to be here.
Thank you for joining. You've been joining us each week, giving us little updates on the education industry. I know your kids are in high school. You have kids in middle school. You have kids in even younger. It's all virtual right now here in Pennsylvania. Have they started class yet?
Next week we start. My youngest two actually have like a hybrid model. They're in Catholic school, so they're able to physically distance the kids a little bit better because the school's somewhat bigger with a lower enrollment. So they do begin next week. My oldest is going to public high school this year, and she will be all virtual, and she begins classes on Monday. So a lot of changes, but you know, I look at this like it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to do a lot and learn a lot, and you know, really dive into some new technologies for both students and for teachers.
Tess is also with us. Tess is finally back from her maternity leave, so now she has two little ones. One is in kindergarten, virtual kindergarten, I believe. Is that right, Tess?
That's right. They're giving them each an independent iPad, so we'll see how that goes. And he's using something called Seesaw. So I don't know quite what that is, but I have a feeling I'm about to get to know it very well. So I'm excited and nervous. What can you do?
I can say that my own children are under kindergarten age, so we're keeping them home. It's a tricky time. But we also have a few other guests. Drake is actually a high school teacher. Drake is in the midst of a virtual classroom and on the teaching side, right, Drake? Oh, you're muted.
Helps to hit the button once in a while. So, yeah, we're in the synchronous form and asynchronous. We're doing both of them. We're doing live videos on Fridays, and then we're catching up with the students, and then videos Monday through Thursday. But in October, we're supposed to go back to another hybrid section. And it's really interesting to teach to no one at all. It's a different world. So it's a learning process.
Well, I'd like to thank you again, Drake, for contributing to the technology tools for online education that is available for free if anyone is interested at streamgeeks.us/techedu. This book has a lot of great insights and strategies for using technology tools just like a webcam to create videos for exactly what Drake's talking about, doing those lessons online so that you can deliver those to students and hopefully make them engaging. We also have Ryan and Dean. If you want to introduce yourselves, say hi. But if not, I totally get it. So it's all good. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, my name is Ryan Marks. I like to learn about technology, and you guys put out great content, so happy to be here and want to ask some questions later.
Sounds good. And then we've got Dean Sir as well from the MLD Foundation. Thank you for being here, Dean.
Yes, good morning. Glad to be here. Looking forward to always to learning something new and applying those skills. We do rare disease work and lectures and conferences. So even though it's not school, it's a different kind of teaching, very applicable for us.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Well, let's jump right into a screen share session here. We're going to be going over PTZ cameras for lecture capture. So as I mentioned, the technology tools for online education is available for free, and you can enroll in the included Udemy course for free with coupon code fall semester. So check that out if you're looking for a short, easy read to kind of increase what you can do with technology tools for online education. So we're going to be talking about capturing original video content. And admittedly, that's a new topic for a lot of teachers. And we're going to talk about integrating your efforts with some of the top learning management systems. And a lot of times teachers don't get to choose which learning management system they're using, but campus shutdowns are leading to a surge in remote learning. It's a crazy time right now, but hopefully some of the tools that we're going to familiarize you with will help. And this is actually a picture I took at a college in Cincinnati, Ohio. I had to fly out to see what they were up to because it was so interesting. They use Echo 360 to capture lectures inside of their school. And I thought it was an interesting way to start this presentation so that I could kind of explain the difference between lecture capture and learning management. So I apologize, this picture is a little small. This is Echo 360. It's a very popular lecture capture system. And what you're seeing here is the teacher's computer, okay, their presentation on one side, and then a camera on the other. And as you can see in this camera here, there are a lot of notes on the board. And what's cool about this lecture capture system, and there's a lot of different types, and we'll talk about pretty much all of them in detail today, but this one allows the student to go back and decide which version do they want to see of this video full screen. And at the time when I was recording this in 2019, the students were in the classroom and this information was available for them to go back to a lecture and kind of rewatch something that they might have missed out on or needed more clarification on. So that right there is a lecture capture system. The learning management system is where these videos are uploaded to, and that's where the teachers kind of maintain their online courses. So some of the top learning management platforms are different from the top video kind of lecture capture systems. So lecture capture, Echo 360, Kaltura, OpenCast, Panopto, VidGrid, and Julia are some of the most popular ones. And then for learning management systems, we're talking more like Blackboard, Moodle, Desire to Learn, and there are really many others. Now, there's three main ways that you can record videos for use in the virtual classroom. One is to capture, your webcam and maybe include that with a screen capture. And a popular way to do that is Zoom. And you can connect a webcam to Zoom. You can share your screen. You can record all of that and you can upload that into your learning management system. In our technology tools for online education book, we try to take that whole process a step further, and we teach you how to use a free software called Open Broadcaster software so that you can kind of have a little bit more control than Zoom gives you on branding with colors and images and video clips that we call B-roll inside of a little bit more of an engaging video. But that right there, that is probably one of the biggest forms of education. Even for us as a business, just creating videos are just so important. And then folks can come to your Zoom sessions and your live sessions a lot better educated because they've watched your lectures. Now, another is this simulated classroom. And this is where a lot of teachers, just this week, I've seen so many pictures where they've got a whiteboard behind them. They've got a presentation space. And while they're recording a video, whether it's live or for on demand, they've got a whiteboard and they're simulating the classroom experience. And then what we'll kind of touch on today as well is a multi-camera virtual classroom where we've got a document camera, maybe we have a PTZ camera, maybe we have a screen capture, video input, and there's a lot of ways to mix video together to make a really engaging and robust video solution. So in general, one of the most important things for teachers to understand about video presence, and the reason why turning on that webcam and being there is important, is because 93% of all communications are nonverbal. So that means facial expressions, body posture, physical movements, the way that you're saying things resonates more with students than actually what you are saying. And this comes from Albert Mabrian. He's a very famous professor from UCLA psychology, where his studies showed that the communication elements that resonated most was the face and the voice way more than the actual words. And so that's where that 93% of communications being nonverbal stems from. Now, today we're going to look at two different types of lecture capture solutions. We're going to look at software solutions and we're going to look at hardware solutions. Now, software solutions are very affordable. You can run it on your Windows computer, you can run it on your Mac, and really you can use it with a webcam, the built-in camera. You can even use your smartphone. Right? And the cool thing about some of the software solutions we're going to talk about is if your school's using Kaltura or Panopto for your lecture capture, you can actually automatically have that information uploaded into your course material. So they have some really great integrations with learning management software. Now, the hardware solutions are also generally integrated well with learning management systems. They're a little bit more expensive, but they provide more video inputs. And one we're going to look at today right here, we actually have the Epiphan Pearl 2. This is one of my favorites from Epiphan, but we'll also touch on a really affordable Blackmagic ATEM Mini, which has 4 HDMI inputs. We'll look at some really small lecture capture devices that take an HDMI input and turn them into a USB input. And then, of course, just a webcam, right? How can we use that more effectively as well? So we've got a lot to cover today, and we're going to go through some examples that hopefully will kind of give you some ideas of what you can do. Now, hardware, I would say lecture capture systems are generally deployed in higher education, although Tess has a cousin in high school that uses the Pearl 2. And she has a PTZOptics camera connected. I was surprised to see in the K through 12 market, this was before all of this. Tess, your cousin actually uses the Pearl 2, right? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I lost the unmute button. It's actually my sister-in-law.
Oh, yes.
And she's the media teacher at her high school, and they were using a Pearl 2 before I even started talking to her about PTZ cameras. So it was interesting that was their selection.
Yeah,
cool.
And this is a really great solution because it has multiple video inputs and outputs. And for example, one of the things that's really popular is the ability to capture the output of the laptop and mix it with 1 or 2 cameras and then bring in a professional audio mixer. And so that allows you to do picture-in-picture and a lot of great things. And it integrates with Kaltura and Moodle, Desire to Learn, and Panopto. And it's really easy to use. There's like a little touch screen on the front. So if it's like one of those things, if you can afford it, it really makes lecture capture easy. We looked briefly at Echo 360. This is a really, I would say it's a really expensive system. I mean, they've got a Crestron touchscreen there. They've got Echo 360 running here. They've got multiple video inputs and outputs, but it provides a really high-end, super awesome solution. This is the dashboard of the Epiphan Pearl that allows the teacher to quickly kind of switch between full screen of their presentation, a picture-in-picture, and a secondary camera. So just give you an idea of how that works. Now, another technology we're going to look at today is called NDI. And that has really started to revolutionize the way that you can capture video. You can see this camera, this is a PTZOptics camera, does have SDI, but it also has an Ethernet connection that is available to output NDI video. And the Epiphan Pearl, for example, supports that. So instead of having to run lots of cabling, you can do everything over your network and save some money while you do so because, it's just easy to use. Mike's going to show it here. This is the actual camera right here that PTZOptics offers, and it allows you to just plug a single Ethernet cable into it for power over Ethernet control and video. So looking at this differently, now we have the ability to run an NDI source directly over the network and connect it there instead of having to run a bunch of different cables. So that is interesting. Now, I did want to mention our sister company, HuddleCamhd, has the auto tracking camera, the Simple Track 2, which really has been popular. Here's that case study from Case Western University in Cincinnati, Ohio, where they are running a Simple Track 2 into an Echo 360 system, and they've got an entire Crestron digital matrix, which has maybe like 4 video inputs that the teacher can choose from, one of them being their laptop, another being a document camera, and then I think there's definitely a third one there. And then it all goes to Echo 360. And so the students can look at all of those video sources and decide which they'd like to go back to as they're referencing the lectures. And the Echo 360 automatically publishes to Canva, which is the learning management system that they use over at Case Western University. Now, I want to take a look at software, because I think that what software has done in lecture capture has really revolutionized what's going on. And I'm really excited to turn this over to Drake as well and ask a little bit about what he's using to record his videos. But the interesting thing about Kaltura, and then I wanted to do actually a live demo of Panopto as well in a moment, is that it's very simple to record video, and then it automatically integrates, especially if you're using Kaltura or Panopto at your school. So as an example, I wanted to show this. Panopto is a really powerful one. We're going to have them on our show soon. If you hit that record button, literally it opens up a option to record video directly on your laptop, any computer. You could even have a Chromebook. Now, right now I have the HuddleCam HD Pro connected to this camera. And I wanted to show this really quickly. Mike, can we show the HuddleCam HD Pro so you guys can see this camera just plugged in via USB? Here it is right here. And this camera has the ability to zoom in a little bit. So let me show you guys what that does really quickly. If we cut to the, right there. All the cameras in the studio are now like moving. Sorry, Mike. But for example, that's a close-up shot. And if I hit this 3 button here, like it zooms in over here on like the whiteboard. So that's that simulated experience where we've got the whiteboard, I've got a close-up, I've got the wide shot, and that's all through a simple little webcam. And this is that app. I can also obviously switch to a screen share as well. And it's just web-based. So this integrates directly with Panopto. It's right on their homepage. And these software-based tools make it super easy for schools to deploy lecture capture systems with any teacher that has a webcam. In fact, Drake, are you using a software tool to do your recordings?
Yeah, I'm actually using vMix to do my recordings just because we already used it for sports and everything. So I just kind of turned it into a classroom module to do my lectures instead of the big sports arenas like I'm normally doing.
I see. And vMix is very similar to OBS. In the technology tools for online education, we reviewed OBS because it is free. You happen to have vMix, which is obviously preferable between you and I, but it's maybe a little overly powerful for an everyday teacher, possibly.
Yeah, the teachers that aren't used to that level of the tech, I've got them using OBS, and then some reason using just Zoom. But Panopto, I mean, you've named a couple things. I'm jotting notes down going, hey, it's time for me to play this afternoon.
Well, that is good to hear. And that's what we're trying to do with hopefully inspiring some cool stuff today. This device right here is called a frame grabber. And I'll show it up a little closer. This is the video maker's best friend in a lot of ways. What this does is it takes an HDMI, and there's SDI versions. There's even NDI versions, which I understand is a new term for some folks, but we might want to get into that. You can take an HDMI video input and convert it to USB. And it's that simple. So now you can take any video source and bring it into vMix, OBS, Wirecast, all of the different video production software. So looking at this solution, we can see here that we could have a webcam, and we're showing the PTZOptics webcam here. We can have an SDI connection or an HDMI connection. Those connections don't generally plug directly into a laptop, so we've got that frame grabber there to convert it to USB, and then it's usable in pretty much any of these softwares solutions. Kaltura has a great one, Panopto, and pretty much all of these have learning management system lecture capture solutions that are software based now, so they can be run directly on any computer. Now, you can still do so much with a webcam. So that's something I wanted to kind of transition to here. Yes, you can bring in a PTZOptics webcam directly into any software using NDI, actually, because there is a virtual webcam driver for NDI that will bring any NDI camera into Skype, GoToMeeting, WebEx, or these lecture capture solutions. And we can demonstrate that if you guys would like to see that. But also, you can just plug in a webcam. Now, another thought that I should have written down here that I wanted to share, and Drake is using vMix. My writing's going to be horrible. A lot of the teachers on his campus and a lot of the teachers I work with are using a free software called OBS. And those softwares can actually bring the webcams into that software, and they can actually have a virtual webcam output into your learning management system. And that allows you to add graphics and overlays and videos and all kinds of great things. So it's something to think about, and it's explained in the Technology Tools for Online Education's book if you'd like to learn more. Now, two cameras that we looked at today, we looked at just a regular webcam, and then we looked at the HuddleCam HD Pro, which has got the USB 3.0. Now, this is got an actual remote control that you can zoom in and out. And we've talked to a lot of teachers. They wanted the ability to show the whiteboard behind them. Students weren't able to really see the details of what they were doing behind them with a regular webcam. Now, regular webcams are about less than $100. This one is $299, so it's a lot more, but it's affordable enough, and a lot of teachers are using it, educators, even yoga teachers and things like that, to zoom in and show what they're doing in more detail. Another scenario that we looked at, this is actually, that one is an example here, is you can just use that HuddleCam HD Pro with the USB, but still get the PoE, and then, still get the pan tilt zoom. And then the other option here I wanted to show is that there is a NDI version of a webcam. So a lot of times you might want to put a camera further away than USB will reach, or you've run out of USB ports. Like, let's say you only have 1 or 2 USB ports. You can add a second camera over the network. There are NDI webcams from HuddleCam HD that are pretty interesting and worth noting. So this is that HuddleCam HD Pro. This is the example of those presets that I showed. Those are called digital pan tilt zoom presets. So you can show a lot more than just a wide angle webcam view. You can really zoom in and show, details of what you are presenting. So that helps out a lot. This is an example of that ePTZ functionality where you have a wide view that you can always go to, but you can go inside of that scene and digitally enhance the view. Now, another thing that a lot of teachers know about USB, because it's plug and play for web conferencing, but HDMI is a great option as well. And that is where this ATEM Mini comes in. This is worth taking a look at. This product is from Blackmagic. It's only $299. Let's see if I can there we go. Nice, perfect focus. It gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons to quickly press to switch between 4 HDMI video sources. You can also quickly do like a picture-in-picture. This is only $299. It's got a webcam out right there. That is a USB output, 4 HDMI inputs, and an HDMI output. So this is like the most affordable capture card out there today. You plug that into your computer, and now you can have 4 HDMI cameras. So GoPros, camcorders, the HuddleCam HD Pro that we talked about can all be mixed together with a simple little switcher like this. This is like those prosumer type products that you see a lot of YouTubers using, and I think it fits with some teachers as well. Now, here's an example of using that product with a couple different PTZOptics cameras, the HuddleCam HD Pro, and then again, connecting directly to a laptop using a software lecture capture system. And then finally, network video, either NDI or RTSP, does come in handy in a lot of situations for schools because they already have an infrastructure, a networking infrastructure available. And then we can't forget about Zoom, right? Zoom video conferencing, so popular, so easy to use, can be used to record videos. Now, I will caution against using Zoom to record all your videos. Even though it's easy, the quality is quite low compared to what you can do with OBS, which is free, and vMix, and even in comparison to some of the lecture capture software. So Zoom does a lot of compression that handle everything in the cloud. And if you really care about the archival purposes of your videos, you really should take a look at this book or just download OBS and look at the quality that you're actually recording in. Zoom, I've seen anywhere from like 1 to 2 megabits per second when, really high quality would be like 10 times that. So it's compressed a lot to get up to the cloud. I love Zoom. It's a great tool. Now, the great thing about Zoom, and something that we can demonstrate today actually, is that Zoom supports something called far end camera control. And it actually works with the HuddleCam HD Pro. And that HuddleCam HD Pro is Zoom certified. It also works with all of the PTZOptics USB connected cameras. And it allows you to have a teacher's assistant or a student actually remotely control your camera from afar. So, Julia, I always pick on you at this part of the show, if that's okay, and I take control of your camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click it here, and you can see that request camera control button.
There you go. I'm a guinea pig. Go for it.
Okay, and now you can see here that these zoom controls come in and out there, and so now I can zoom in and out. Now, is that realistic for an educator, Julia?
I don't know. I mean, it could certainly make the class a little bit more interactive, right? You could have them look for something like on the bookshelf or something like that.
For a chalkboard, potentially. Whiteboard, chalkboard.
I definitely think it's an eye-opener.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty much wraps up our presentation today. So now that we've got some great folks here, I wanted to ask questions, and then we do have a giveaway.
Can't forget about the giveaway.
So I'll look for some giveaway winners. I'd love to get some reactions, guys. What you're thinking. Hopefully we covered some good information today.
Did you cover Richard's question about bandwidth?
I did not, and I actually was ignoring vMix Social, so I so apologize. Hi, Richard. Richard Lombana is asking, because many teachers have to stream at once, do you have a program or platform that uses the lowest bandwidth? That is a great question. And, the first day of school this week and Zoom goes down, first day of virtual class for a lot of schools on the East Coast, there was outages. Did it have to do with bandwidth? I don't actually know. But it's a good thing to think about. So bandwidth is the amount of internet speed that you have between your computer and your internet service provider. So a lot of teachers need to stream at once. Well, if they're hosting Zoom sessions, yes, they do. If they're live streaming, yes, they do. But if they are recording videos, literally to their local hard drive, they're not actually using any bandwidth. So unless they're uploading that video to the learning management system, which could be hosted locally on your network, depending on how you have it set up, it depends on what they're doing. Yes, if they are live streaming or connected to something that is, connecting them to other people like Zoom, they're using bandwidth. And Zoom does a great job of optimizing for the available bandwidth and, reducing video and audio quality in order to optimize for bandwidth. But if they are flipping the classroom and simply recording lessons for students to watch on their own time, they upload that to the cloud, and then students actually use their own bandwidth to access the videos from the learning management system. So that's an interesting one. I've got one from Ryan here. Zoom determined that the cause of this service disruption. Is that you, Ryan?
Yeah, it is.
What did they determine?
Here. Paul, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to add to something you just said, because people are learning here. The bandwidth is a tricky thing. It's both the total amount of bandwidth and the consistency of bandwidth when you're doing video. And you should also note if you're broadcasting and your source is at your school, you've probably got really good download and upload bandwidth. But if you're doing this out of your home or out of a remote location, you may think you have lots of bandwidth because all of the ISPs talk about downstream bandwidth, what comes into your house. But your upstream bandwidth can be very, very small. So yeah, you should do a little bit of testing of that, and particularly if the students are complaining about the quality of the signal or a lot of buffering, you want to make sure that's not on your end first because you have a small upload pipe.
That is a great point. And then getting into your question again, Ryan, Zoom determined that this was an application level bug in their system, not necessarily a boom in usage.
Yeah, that was from an email they had sent out yesterday morning.
Well, at least they owned up to it quickly, and I believe they fixed it. So thank goodness for that, because there was some definite issues going on early this week on all kinds of things regarding to Zoom.
Could I add on to something that Dean was just talking about?
Sure.
So if you're at home and you're connected via Wi-Fi to your internet, you may be getting a less quality signal versus a hard line into your router. So if you're not able to connect via router, maybe you can use a wireline adapter to go through the electrical system to get a faster connection.
And then I wanted to answer Russell here about the online Udemy course. The free coupon code is fall semester. So that should be available to use. So if you want to take that online course, type in fall semester. Actually, today's the last day. I have to remake them every week with Udemy. All right, we're going to pull a winner unless there's any other questions for today's giveaway.
You can draw winners. There is one coming in on Facebook from Chris. Would the HuddleCam HD Pro work using Cat6/HDMI extenders in an auditorium type setup to get a close-up of an equation on a whiteboard, for example?
Well, it's worth noting that it has 8x digital zoom and it starts with a 4K image. So it's not necessarily optical zoom where you can zoom in from 85 feet away, 100 feet away, and get a great view of a whiteboard. It's good for 10 feet away, and we just showed it today, and I can show it again here. It's good for zooming in a little bit across the board, but not too much. Yes, you can with the NDI version. You can power it over Ethernet. You can control it over Ethernet, and then you can use NDI to bring it into your software, including any software that works with webcams. So that's good. Oh my gosh, guess who just won? Ryan Marks from Tuscaloosa,
I love when that happens.
Alabama.
About Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa. All right, great. Well, we can still take questions, but Ryan, I'm going to spin the wheel for you. Oh, Mike's going to spin the wheel. Okay. Doesn't Ryan get to ask? Doesn't he get a choice? Do you want Mike to spin it, Ryan?
Whomever's closest to it right now.
All right, he's saying yes. Go ahead. Here we go. This is Mike's favorite part of the day.
Grease the wheel, it's never going to stop.
Mike is like a kid in a candy shop right now. He's like from every angle. Oh my gosh. Okay. You get a webcam light. So that'll be good for lighting up your studio.
That's awesome. Thanks.
So I've got your email here. I'm just going to need your address in a little bit. We still have a moment to answer some questions if anyone has some questions. Kyle Gunderman's here as always. Kyle, we got to get you on the Zoom call next time. I want to see you. All right. Any final questions? Any thoughts, Drake, on what we talked about today?
Well, as I'm crunching numbers already over here, because I know a lot of districts are going to sit there and balk at a $299 price. But when you got a teacher like myself who's doing what's going to end up at the end of the year, 144 videos, that's only $2 a video. So this is something districts really need to start investing, because in the long term, we're going to be using this technology a lot more.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and I've never really broken it down in that way, but you're right. I mean, these are the archival value, and you're a teacher who is recording it in a high quality video, production software. Unfortunately, I think, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, I'll open this to everybody, but when you're recording all of your videos in Zoom, they just don't look that good. And I think from an archival perspective, it's not going to be usable in the future.
Yeah, and also we're really working for student engagement. And if it's a bad quality, and not to knock this generation, but they'll start to tune out right away. The audio is bad, the picture quality is bad, you're going to lose them. You've got to be, right with them the whole time and capturing them from the minute you start to the minute you go. So the investment's worth it if you want your students engaged.
When the students' video quality is better than yours.
I've seen that.
Drake, that's an interesting.
They know what they're doing.
Drake, that's an interesting comment too, from the student's perspective. So if you're doing remote learning, and parents are balking at the price, to take the price of that camera and a little better camera, maybe even one with some of that remote control capability, so the teacher can zoom around and have a little fun, a little more direct engagement. Divide that by 200 days of classes, and all of a sudden it's $1 a day.
Exactly.
Well, that is a great perspective, and I think that's a great moment to end on. I really want to tell everyone, thank you so much for joining. Having you guys here makes all the difference. So, Drake, Dean, Mark, it was really a pleasure. Flounder, love that name, by the way. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. We're thinking about taking a break in a little bit from the show. We're going to take a couple weeks off as we recharge and get ready. But it's been a pleasure. So thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Everyone, thanks, Paul.
Bye.
Happy start of the school year.